and Jalen Washington get us started. Bill Covington Jr., Tommy Morrissey, and Eric Lewis on the whistle. R.J. Davis with the tap, won by the Tar Heels, and Carolina to work.
And immediately SMU drops back into a 1-3-1 zone, and they'll match up out of this zone.
Miller plays at the front, where they bring the long Johan Traore out to the wing on the far side. 8 to shoot, and here goes Cadeau back for Washington. Yugitolu on a kick out. Cadeau 3 on the clock and a long triple. Rings in for Elliot Cadeau. 12th of the year. Well, he's hit his last 2 from the floor from behind the line.
2 straight, and one to end the game, one to start it.
And a steal by Cadeau against Cross. Layup bounces in.
Wes, any team that scores as many points as both of these teams do is likely to generate turnovers, and that's what North Carolina wants to do. SMU has to be very careful and protect the ball.
Yugitolu working against Washington, the big freshman from Turkey. Leans in, had it partially blocked. Recovered in the corner to Miller, 10 to shoot for the Mustangs. Miller on the drive, can't finish. Out of bounds, 1.5 on the clock. Last touched by SMU. It'll go to Carolina.
That was an outstanding defensive effort by North Carolina. And if you're going to play a team like SMU that has a distinct size advantage, you've got to be willing to trap and do a little bit of things differently on defense, and North Carolina did on that possession.
Washington, Powell, Jackson, Davis, and Cadeau on the floor for Hubert Davis. And here is Drake Powell in traffic. Fall away, bounces free. Across the rebound for SMU.
I think you got to go and attack those big guys.
Samet Yugitolu, he'll hand for Cross against Cadeau. Digs in on the left. Tried to bounce it out on the perimeter, and it's recovered at distance. This is B.J. Edwards, averaging just less than 10 for the Mustangs. He'll attack on the drive. Pivots, throws it up, won't go. They crash the glass. Last touched by SMU, says Bill Covington Jr.
Wes, early we see one of the key matchups, and that is Elliot Cadeau is matched up against Matt Cross. Cross much taller, much stronger, but North Carolina, again, they did a nice job helping Cadeau out, forcing Cross to give up the ball.
Here's R.J. Davis, and almost turned over. Jackson runs it down, and right back to Davis. Foul line for Cadeau. Cross there. Back for Jackson. Ian Jackson's been on quite a tear for Carolina, a record-setting tear in many ways. He'll fire for 3. Bounces out, cross the rebound. SMU wants to run. Yugitolu on the back end. The catch inside, no question. The big man tries to reset on Washington, had it blocked, and Jalen recovers. Lead for Davis. He'll take it on the drive and draw the foul. R.J. Davis had Ian Jackson with him. He goes to the rack, and he'll get 2 free throws as a result of the SMU foul.
It was a great catch by Yugitolu, but it took him too long to get himself centered up so he could take the ball up to the basket, and that's 2 blocks now by Washington. We've talked about the size advantage for SMU, but so far Washington really doing a nice job, particularly on the defensive end inside.
R.J. Davis free throw no good. He's the 8th best free throw shooter in the ACC. Dan, a little bit of a struggle here in the last 2, though. 5.5 assists per game, but just 10 points, 7 of 23, and only 1 of his last 8 from behind the line. Hits the back end for his first point. Now, when he had, by the way, a single-digit game at Notre Dame on Saturday, that snapped a streak of 17 straight double-figure games, Dan. He's been double figures in 44 of his last 46 as a Tar Heel.
Well, he can put the ball in the basket, that's for sure.
3 minutes gone. We're going to get a hand check foul out on the perimeter, and it's going to be against Elliot Cadeau. It'll be his first. It's the first on Carolina.
And that's the matchup we're talking about. Matt Cross is 6'7". Cadeau is 6'1", and Cross is a guy who is a very effective inside-outside player. So when he sees Cadeau matched up against him, he's going to try to take it to the goal.
Seth Trimble back on the floor. He's missed the last 3. Had 5 straight double-figure games prior to the injury that he suffered in practice. And the basket a moment ago to Edwards off the inbounds pass gets SMU on the board. Here's Jackson going all the way through for Davis. Yugitolu trying to stay in front of Ian Jackson.
And doing a pretty good job.
Now here comes the double team. Lob across the floor. Cadeau with 3 to shoot. Takes it on the drive, going to scoop it up, and the rebound for Traore. Johan Traore, junior from France and a transfer from Cal State Bakersfield. He'll shoot at 17 feet. And Yigitolu somehow worked his way around Washington and tapped that home.
He just overpowered him, Wes.
Davis a crossover and pull up. And Traore another rebound.
Those are the kind of shots that North Carolina is going to have to make, Wes. I think they want to play in transition, and they're going to get opportunities like that in transition.
Foul will be on Cadeau, and that's 2 quick ones on Elliot Cadeau. And that comes with just about 4 minutes gone here first half, Dan.
Trying to guard the much bigger cross was a problem. And then that time, you know, Boopy Miller is so fast in transition. Cadeau fouled him trying to stay in front.
So here are the Tar Heels now digging into the depth a little bit. Van Allen Lubin onto the floor. Drake Powell has returned to join Trimble, R.J. Davis, and Ian Jackson. Jarrell Colbert, by the way, is on the floor. He wears 20 for SMU as Miller has tied the game on his first field goal. Carolina now without a field goal for about 3 minutes and change.
And North Carolina seems to be a little bit tentative against this zone defense.
So
and the reason you play a zone is to make a team stand around, and that's what we've seen.
Powell goes hard to the basket and off the glass.
That'll work.
Back in front on Drake Powell's first basket. Colbert, junior from Houston, turns it over. Here's Davis with Jackson. He'll go to the glass and draw the foul. I think they're going to get Cross. Matt Cross. It'll be his first. Second on SMU. Carolina got off to a hot start. Mustangs have tied. Tar Heels have gone back in front on the basket by the rookie Powell.
Carolina tells us that the last guy, not freshman, but the last guy for North Carolina to have 100 points over a 4-game span is Hubert Davis.
Yeah. So try that on for size. Challenging the coach. R.J. Davis at the line. His only point has come from the stripe. And he misses the free throw. So he's now just one of his first 3 at the line.
And Wes, that's really the stats you gave with his making only one of his last 8. You know, he is a tremendous free throw shooter.
Yep. And the second one good. So Davis has 2. Cadeau is going to sit on that Carolina bench for a while, picking up his second foul a moment ago at the 16:03 mark. So we'll see a lot of R.J. Davis, Seth Trimble, I suspect, here probably for about the next 8 to 10 minutes. Miller against Trimble, who might be the Tar Heels' best on-ball defender, on the drive, and Colbert couldn't follow it.
SMU now has suddenly gone a little bit smaller along their front court.
Yep. They brought Cario Oquindo into the ball game. Where's number 8 for the Mustangs? Edwards stays on the floor. They've also got Chuck Harris off the bench. He's a talented scorer, averaging 11.4 for Coach Enfield. 3 out of the corner by Powell is good. Drake Powell with 5.
You don't want to settle for those threes, Wes, but if you're going to take them, you got to get the ball inside that zone, force the zone to collapse, and then kick it out for the 3. And North Carolina perfectly executed on that possession.
Carolina's gone on a 6-0 run to break a 6-all tie. Oquindo a triple from the left. And the rebound for Jackson.
That was some rebound.
Head for Davis. Tries to get on a through a double team there into the corner. Here's Powell against Edwards. To Van Allen Lubin, it got knocked away and turned over, and here is Chuck Harris, one of the two returnees from that squad a year ago that Rob Lanier had, who was the coach at SMU.
And Harris is a three-point guy. That's what he wants to do.
Out of the corner, Edwards a three. Spins out. Trimble the rebound.
Hubert Davis really wants his guys to push and beat that defense down the court.
Mustangs pretty content to play this front zone of the 1-3-1 and force the turnover. Did a good job there. Here's Miller with turnover number 2 of Carolina. Aquindo, last touch by the Tar Heels. I think Powell slapped it off the inline before it got to Davis. And with that, Yigatolu and Cross want to get back in the lineup for SMU. And that'll take Jarrell Colbert and B.J. Edwards out for Andy Enfield.
This is a very effective rotation for SMU.
Yeah, you can look at them statistically and see why they are 11-3 and 2-1 on the season. There's Cross and Jackson, another rebound.
Well, when you're a little bit smaller, some of your small guys have to really do the rebounding job, and you need your best player to knock down shots.
Like that?
Like that.
Gotcha.
That'll work.
R.J. Davis' 31st three of the year. 9 points, the biggest lead for Carolina. It's a 9-0 run, and the answer from Chuck Harris.
Just what we were saying, that's what he does. He shoots threes.
Yep, he was scoreless on Saturday against Duke at Moody Coliseum. On the board in his second shot here tonight. Jackson to answer. Bounds away, Van Allen Lubin couldn't control it. Here's Harris and SMU. On the drive all the way down. Had it knocked away, and a foul is called, and it's going to be on R.J. Davis. First on Davis, it's the third on Carolina in this first half.
North Carolina has taken a lot of threes here early in the game, but this is real good ball movement. SMU, when you play a zone like that, you've got to be very active. What they're trying to do is to push out on the North Carolina shooters, and that time they just weren't very successful.
Harris's free throw spins out. He transferred a year ago to Dallas from Butler, Dan. He played 84 games at Butler. A year ago, he averaged 13.5 points, shot 41% from three in SMU's final campaign in the American.
Wow, this year he's shooting 47% from three. Now, he's not exclusively a three-point shooter, but over half his shot attempts are threes.
Four in a row by SMU. Here's Davis again working against Miller.
It's an advantage to the zone the more you dribble it out there.
Trimble in the air. Powell tees one up and hits.
But when you're going to dribble against the zone, that's what you do. You beat the people on the perimeter. You get into the lane, force the defense to collapse. As long as you keep hitting those threes, you're in business.
Here's Yigatolu on the drive, and an offensive foul called on the big fella from Turkey. His first, it'll be the third on SMU. That'll get us to a timeout in Chapel Hill. Carolina, who had a 9-0 run, has gotten a couple of threes from Drake Powell to make it 8 again in Chapel Hill.
On the arc, Wes.
Drake Powell's got 8 of Carolina's last 12.
Wes, and keep in mind, North Carolina only shoots 31% on the year from three. They shoot 57% from two. Now man-to-man.
Washington clutched on three momentarily. Here is Davis. High-arcing, running one-hander by R.J. Davis. He's got 7.
Now, he's really hard to guard, and that's one of the reasons you play that zone defense. Because Davis is really tough to keep up with.
Gone to 10, the lead for the Tar Heels, their biggest of the first half.
North Carolina with Washington and Withers in the game at the same time, now a little bigger.
Yeah, Cross, a deep three rattles in. Boy, Matt Cross, who shoots 38% from behind the line, knocks down a long three. 20-13. Here's a kick to the right wing. Powell tees up another one. Sure. Drake Powell had 12 threes on the year coming into the game. He's got 3 in the first half.
Well, you see that first one go down, and the basket just gets bigger and bigger.
Oh, boy. A block at the iron as Traore went for the dunk. Washington contested it, and Eric Lewis is going to whistle a foul on Jalen Washington. It'll be the first on Washington, the fourth on Carolina. And let's look at the dunk attempt by Traore a moment ago that was rejected.
North Carolina, particularly Washington, doing a great job. That's 3 blocks for him now, but it's really tough in there because this is SMU, that is the top offensive rebounding team in the conference.
Here's Harris. Now to Miller. 12 to shoot. Cross against Withers. 5 to shoot. Now here's Miller. Whoa, way outside for 3. And Jalen Washington the rebound. 10-point advantage for the Tar Heels. Trimble for Jalen Withers out of the corner. Mustangs turn and burn here. Miller, look at Boopy Miller. Wow. All the way to the rim. Couldn't finish. Withers collects.
It's a really good job to get back on defense and force a tough shot.
Dan, you like the idea of the man after the zone for SMU?
Well, they wanted to change the tempo of the game a little bit, Wes. North Carolina was knocking down those threes. They weren't able to defend them, but now you go to the man-to-man, and it's hard to guard things like that.
Yeah,
although Traore with a great block.
Got swatted out of bounds. Carolina will have 6 to shoot. Don't forget ACC men's basketball this weekend, of course. Triple header starts at 2 o'clock. It's Alumni Weekend at Tiger Town for the Noles and Tigers, presented by Food Line. Dan and I will be at the Lenovo Center in Raleigh for State Carolina at 4 o'clock. And then the Hokies are in Berkeley at the Haas Pavilion for a 6 o'clock start Eastern time against the Golden Bears. Powell, the missed jump shot from the baseline. And we get DJ Edwards handling the ball. Back for Cross. Oquendo, left side Harris, the 3. And he'll get his own rebound at distance. Take off baseline, tried to give it inside. Igutolu turned over. Here's Ian Jackson. Back for Powell. Washington trying to help Jackson. Now Davis. Step in 2. Igutolu the rebound for SMU.
Again, where these teams are going to get up and down, Wes.
Yep. Nobody waits around in this game, do they?
No, I don't think we're going to have any problem with shot clock violations.
On the drive, Harris in traffic, and I think Washington just picked up his 2nd. So that'll get Vin Allen Lubin off Hubert Davis's bench. So Cadeau and Washington have 4 of Carolina's 5 fouls with 8:51 to go.
Well, and both of these teams want to get the ball and go. And both of these teams have guards who can really pressure you, beating you out on the perimeter. And when your guys get by somebody out on the perimeter, that causes some problems for your inside guys. And Washington, who's played very well, is going to have to sit down with those 2 fouls.
Yep. Washington off to a very good start. No points, couple of rebounds, some blocks. And he and Cadeau have 2, and Elliott has come back with just under 9 to go. So he sat over there about 7 minutes. 2nd from Harris. And now Boopy Miller back for Chuck Harris and Andy Infield's order. I'm fascinated to watch Carolina get small here, Dan. We talked about it a little bit with Hubert Davis today. We'll see how it unfolds here. Cadeau for Powell, who's been terrific early. Ten to shoot. Withers. Igutolu couldn't get there, and it got blocked by Cross. Terrific play by Matt Cross. Miller and the Mustangs in transition. Cross winding into the lane. Kick for Edwards. Baseline runner is good. B.J. Edwards, 2nd field goal.
North Carolina did a good job making them stop.
There goes Ian Jackson for the dunk. It got rejected by Oquendo. Going up, and Bill Covington a foul. And We'll double check the foul, but here's a look at Withers.
Withers missed that three, so he elects to drive to the basket, and Cross just takes it right out of his arms. But this North Carolina team does a nice job getting back on defense, but this is an experienced player in Edwards. He's one of those returners you talked about, Wes.
Cario Oquendo, the foul. Fourth on SMU. Andy Enfield not pleased. Jalen Withers, the free throw. His first point of the game.
Wes, we've talked a great deal about the fact that North Carolina has had some trouble rebounding the ball this year, but they've really been scrapping and fighting tonight.
Yeah.
Against one of the best rebounding teams in the ACC.
Yeah. It's interesting, the words you hear Hubert Davis use most often about his team is communicating and talking, though, Dan, right? And they wouldn't be doing this well if they weren't doing some of that. Well,
I think so. And every time you talk to him, he says, well, the keys are always the same, defense and rebounding. And they've done a pretty good job in both areas so far.
Yigitolu against Villan Lubin. And a double team help forces the turnover. 5 of them now for the Mustangs. And Cadeau off the Powell pass.
That's perfectly executed, Wes. You wait till the big guy starts dribbling the ball, then you attack him, and they knock the ball away and get an easy one down on the other end.
10-point lead for Carolina. Drake Powell. You see the turnover off the double team. Nice delivery here. Good clean bounce pass. Carolina by 10.
In the ACC, all played one another tonight, and this is the last game in that, and those teams have got to be very concerned about that as the season goes on.
Yep. 1-1 on the road. The one road win was at Boston College. There's the drive. Oquendo couldn't finish. That ball got knocked toward the Tar Heel bench, and Bill Covington says last touch by SMU.
Well, Wes, nobody on either one of these teams is worried about an NCAA tournament resume right now. They're trying to win the game, but you know, the fans are all concerned about that.
Yep.
I mean, the NCAA tournament doesn't start until the middle of March.
Yeah, we got a couple
January.
months.
We got some time.
Yeah, we got a couple months. Here's Jackson, who so far tonight is scoreless with 7 minutes to play in the first half. And boy, took a hard shot that time from B.J. Edwards as he was trying to make the catch. 7 to shoot for Cadeau. Cross tries to help. Cadeau on the re-rack, scoop it with the right hand. That got blocked out of bounds, and last touch by Miller with 2.1 to shoot. Cadeau is slowly back to his feet.
Elliot Cadeau, I think that's where he operates the best, Wes. Taking the ball and driving it hard to the basket. And we've seen him make some tough shots in there.
He is like a slot wide receiver across the middle when he takes it in the lane now. Lob for Powell. Carolina couldn't complete the alley-oop. Here's SMU. One of their last 7. Miller tries to change that. And then Allen Lubin had a shot at the rebound. It was knocked out of his hands. And Jarrell Colbert, the junior transfer at 6'10", asking Eric Lewis about it. And now turning to Tommy Morrissey as if to say a second opinion might go there. Did not.
I don't think anybody's going to change their mind. Now, Boopy Miller does a lot of things very well, but shoot threes is not among them. He's only a 30% three-point shooter. And I'm not sure that Andy Enfield wants him shooting the three that early in the shot clock.
Carolina by 10. Davis for Powell, 10 to shoot, and R.J. Davis to work against B.J. Edwards. Lubin trying to help. There's the double team. Now Ian Jackson with 3 to shoot. Deep 3 off a spin, missed everything. Miller the rebound of the air ball. Mustangs in transition. Harris will finish with the layup.
Boy, Miller can go, can't he?
Terrific turn and burn. Harris has got 8 to lead the Mustangs. It's an 8-point Carolina lead.
Now Lubin is setting screens and they're ignoring him, and that
there's
time
a
he made
foul
him pay
on Cross.
for it.
That'll be his second. 5 on SMU, Dan.
Well, Lubin goes and sets those screens, and SMU has been attacking the dribbler. They've basically been ignoring Lubin, but that time he was able to find his way to the basket on the roll.
So Matt Cross, I think, will be replaced here in the SMU lineup after picking up his second with 5:54 to go. Remember, now he averages not just 11 points, he's their best rebounder at 8 a game. Then Allen Lubin, 21 of 29 at the free throw line this year after that conversion for his first point. There is Johan Traore from Tours in France back into the lineup for the Mustangs. And the second one bounds away. Lead stays at 9.
Well, Traore is more of an inside operator for SMU.
Colbert tried to bounce it through traffic, turned it over. Nice lead pass. Davis will try and finish. It got slapped off the glass, and Van Allen Lubin stuffed it back home. (30-19). Miller fall away at the 16-foot mark, rebounded by Trimble. Powell for Jackson. Back for Drake Powell. Spot up jumper, tried to follow his own miss. And Bill Covington said last touched by SMU. But how about this a moment ago, Dan?
Well, this is really a great defensive sequence, and R.J. Davis stumbles and he's not able to quite get his feet, but great hustle by Lubin. You think, okay, Davis is out of the head of the crowd, he's going to score easily, but he stumbled. It was a blocked shot, and Lubin comes down and tips it home.
The 6'10 freshman James Brown has come on the floor for Carolina. Where's jersey number 2 for the Tar Heels? Here's Brown at the foul line. Yigatolu, and then he threw it away. Turnover by the freshman. 5th turnover on Carolina.
Brown is the screener that time, has to find a way to get himself involved.
Yep.
He can't just allow his man to go double team the ball handler.
Yep, he is a young man who they see a very bright future for. So the minutes come in small increments for 6'11 or 6'10 freshman James Brown.
Well, if you go in the game and turn the ball over, they're going to be even
smaller. That's right. Here's Miller. Long 3 by Traore is off the mark.
Now, he shoots him from out there, but he's only about 30%.
Jackson, leaping catch to Powell. Trimble, Euro in traffic. They try for the rebound, knocked out. Jackson a fresh 20. Davis standing 3. 10 in the first half for R.J. Davis.
That's a great pass by Jackson.
14-point Carolina lead is their largest to this first half. And Harris fouled on the drive, or Edwards rather fouled on the drive, and he was fouled by Powell.
So North Carolina had all those problems, falling behind by double digits in the first half, and now we've had 2 games in a row where they've gone up by double digits in the first half.
Yeah, 7 times prior to Saturday against Notre Dame, they had fallen behind by double digits in the first half, and now 2 straight of 10 plus. I think they're playing for the future, Dan. Here's Edwards. He's got 5 for SMU. He and Harris frontline scoring, and for the first time we get to see Tibet Gorner, a senior from Turkey. This is his 3rd school. Originally at Arizona, a couple of seasons at San Jose State, and now SMU. One of the new faces in the lineup. He averaged 11 points and 4 rebounds a year ago for San Jose State. 4 minutes to go. Miller cashes into the corner. Gorner's 3.
Now, his previous stops, Gorner made 3s. He struggled from 3 this year, but that's what he's in the game to do, is to try to make a 3.
Yeah, 4 of 16 now after the miss there. Here goes Powell baseline. The reverse, and fouled is Drake Powell. And I think that's going to be on Yigatolu. We will double check it when we come back to Chapel Hill. It is Yigatolu's 2nd. R.J. Davis has got double figures in the first half. Carolina by 13. Well, we just had one of our own a few minutes ago from Van Allen Lubin, but I can believe Cooper Flagg did something tonight. He posted another double-double tonight in the Duke win. By the way, all Justin's got to do is pass the ball.
Yeah.
MCW in studio now working for us at ACC Network. Foul was on Samet Yigitolu, so it was his second as Powell goes to the line, and the former Northwood Charger spins out the free throw.
That's about the only thing North Carolina has done poorly tonight. They're now 5 of 9 from the line, but they've held SMU to 26% shooting. Tar Heels have made 6 threes. They've out-rebounded one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the conference.
Yep. Powell's got a dozen. RJ Davis has got 10. 2 Tar Heels in double figures. Gorner handles it for SMU. Here's Edwards and Miller out front with 13 to shoot against RJ Davis. Goes Boopy. Spot up at the elbow. Short. Davis the run out and rebound.
The Tar Heels really aggressively pushing the ball.
Sure are. Trimble off the ball screen of Powell. Right back for Drake's 3 out of the corner. Too strong. Long rebound handled by Miller and SMU as we get to 3 minutes on the attack again.
That's the first one of those Powell's missed.
Yigitolu's still on the floor, Dan, playing with the 2 fouls here.
And he's really fighting against Brown on the inside. He's got to be careful he doesn't pick up an offensive foul.
There's the drive. They lob it for the big man. Can't finish it. Slapped out of bounds, and it belongs to Carolina. Samet is clearly frustrated with the events here in the opening half.
Yeah, he is. North Carolina scrambled on defense. They've pressured the ball, so they've made it difficult for SMU to find the big guy inside. And with those 2 fouls, he's got to be careful. He very nearly got one for going over the back on that rebound.
Boopy Miller 1 for 8 here in the first half. You see Yigitolu is 1 for 4. Carolina by 14. Powell trying to take Cross off the bounce. Fights through and scores. What a tough move and score for the freshman Drake Powell.
Really did a nice job hanging in the air that time, and Yigitolu had to be careful. He don't want to pick up that 3rd foul.
Edwards driving through, and a whistle and foul will be called. Tommy Morrissey is going to tag, I believe,
RJ Davis.
RJ Davis.
And Davis is complaining. I don't know what he's complaining about.
7 on Carolina.
Davis just pushes up against him. When an offensive player is dribbling in a straight line like that, you just can't try to push him off the line.
That's 7 fouls on Carolina. So 1 and 1 here for Edwards. Jalen Withers into the Tar Heel lineup. And here is B.J. Edwards out of Knoxville, who started his collegiate career at Tennessee for the front end of the 1 and 1. He's been double figures twice in the last 5 for the Mustangs. And the second one good.
I think this is an important last 2 minutes and 15 seconds. North Carolina has basically dominated the half.
Right.
You don't want to turn the ball over and give SMU some easy opportunities.
A little 2-2-1 here, Dan.
Again, trying to change the tempo, trying to change the pace of things. Cross is back in the game with 2 fouls.
And Quindo with Harris over here to the near side. You got Edwards up top with Cross and Yigitolu protecting the rim. Powell had it stripped from behind by Edwards. Carolina turnover. Mustangs on the run. Edwards flipped it up right-handed. Yigitolu the rebound. Big fella with 2, 3 fakes, and then Van Allen, Rubin, and Cross battle inside, and he saves it to Powell. And Edwards trying to stay with Powell through the backcourt. He's going to get called for the reach. Andy Enfield does not like Eric Lewis's call. It'll be the first on Edwards, 7 on SMU, so Tar Heel free throws with 1:37 to play.
Yigitolu really struggling inside. Those are normally shots that he would make.
So here's Powell, 1 for 2. And it bounds away. Got the rebound. Jackson tees one up. The captain is on the board. Ian Jackson pushes it to a 17-point Carolina lead. SMU's missed their last 7 shots from the floor.
Jackson just looks like a basket waiting to happen.
Yep. That's what the kids call a bucket, Dan. He's a walking bucket. Cross, runner with a right hand, good. Matt Cross has got 5 on his second field goal.
This West has been a really complete first half for the Tar Heels.
Yeah. Hubert Davis might twinge a little over the foul shooting, but otherwise been pretty clean for the home team. Withers for Powell. Back to Jalen Withers. Dives in on a Kendo. And Cross out of there with it with 43 seconds to go.
North Carolina's done a great job pressure on the ball.
Here's Harris trying to find room. Slashing is Edwards. Cross the 3. Bounds away. Powell another rebound. Carolina can hold for the last shot if SMU will let them. But boy, Trimble being harried there by B.J. Edwards, and a timeout is taken, I believe, by Carolina here. So Ian Jackson, who's been on a tear for Carolina, 5 straight with 20 or more, gets on the board here in the final minute on a rebound of a miss. Drake Powell hits number 11 for the 3. Well, Hubert Davis and Carolina with 21-2 and the shot clock off here, leading by 15. And you see Powell is 4 off his season high here in the half. Davis has 10. Cadeau has 7. And the Tar Heels here with the final possession, potentially to end the frame. SMU's only 8 of 32 from the floor, Dan, in the first half.
And this is a team that comes in shooting almost 50% as a team on the season.
Well, they were 32% in the second half on Saturday in the second half against Duke. Here's Van Allen Lubin. Thought about the bounce pass. Fall away from in front and doesn't get the roll. Rebound with 1 from 3/4 court. It is offline for Harris. Carolina 39 and SMU 24 at the half. Floor with Jackson, Powell, Cadeau, and R.J. Davis for the Tar Heels.
Well, Harris is in there because they need some offense. He had 8 points. Boopy Miller only scored 2 points in the first half. And what has happened is now SMU has gone with a smaller lineup. They tried to overpower North Carolina in the first half, and it didn't work. So now they're going with the smaller lineup.
And a missed tap followed by Cross and Ugatolu. And Carolina in the open floor, and R.J. Davis misses long from 3 to start for the Tar Heels.
I think if you're Hubert Davis, you take that shot every time.
Sure. Boopy Miller, Elliot Cadeau, remember he's got 2. R.J. Davis has 2. Jalen Washington also with 2. Samet Ugatolo and Matt Cross each with 2 for SMU as we start the second half. And there's Boopy Miller's second field goal.
And that's really the first time Miller's been able to get loose in the half court. You know, Traore is the guy who's out of the game.
There's a turnover, and here's Miller and SMU in transition. A lob and the catch. Harris couldn't finish. Cross did. 4 in a row for the Mustangs. And here's Jackson trying to beat the break and does.
Wow. And that's North Carolina basketball. Just because you score, Wes, you can't relax for a second because the Tar Heels are coming right after you.
Great transition chance for Carolina. Lead back to 13. Harris a 3, misses, and boy, look at the double box out. Washington had most of Ugatolu, and then Cadeau was trying to help. And Davis lost it off the dribble. So 2 turnovers and 3 trips offensively for Carolina here. Well, a missed shot, 1 turnover and 3 trips.
Well, Ugatolu was big enough that they could use some help. But North Carolina did a great job in the first half. They out-rebounded the taller Mustangs. Not only did they out-rebound them overall, but they had more offensive rebounds, did the Tar Heels.
Rare we've seen a standing dribble in this ball game. Cross, the turn, and the hook with the right hand. Slapped out by Washington, recovered to Cross. Edwards in traffic against Washington, scores.
We saw early in the first half that SMU was trying to go after that Matt Cross versus Elliot Cadeau matchup. They didn't have much success. Much better that time for SMU.
So the lead 11 for Carolina. If one thing you know, if you look at SMU's work through these first 14 games, Dan, this is an explosive team. They can roll points in a hurry.
Well, they've had, what, 5 times they've scored at least 50 points and a half this year?
Here's Davis back for Washington. Soft jumper, rolled off the front rim, crossed the rebound. Miller a pull-up 2. And Yigatolu tried to dunk it down, ended up missing the dunk. Might have gotten away with a rim grab. Did I see that? And the ball ended up out of bounds. Bill Covington, did he get away with a rim grab? No, it's an ugly play. Well done, Cov. That's why you're one of the best in the business, my man.
He lost control of the ball going up. Now, he put that ball on the rim and grabbed the rim, then it's a different story.
Powell a 3, bounds away.
North Carolina here early in the second half, really trying to get back on defense. Only sending 2 guys to the offensive boards.
Cross, had it picked by Powell. And then Powell going to commit the foul as he lost control, and then Harris rather, collected. So it'll be the second on Powell, the first of the half on Carolina.
Well, Powell made the mistake, Wes, of trying to recover the ball by dribbling it. He needed to grab that one. It's a really nice job tipping the ball away from Cross, but he's trying to dribble it now. You just got to pick that thing up. Really good defensive play. Unfortunate foul.
So SMU with the ball, 20 on the shot clock. Harris to work. Double team there. Now he'll re-rack around Jackson. Edwards with 6 to shoot against Davis. Leans in, put it up on the rim. Yigatolu couldn't control. Here's Ian Jackson against Harris, all the way to the basket and scores. Ian Jackson's got 7 now. Quick look, Miller had it blocked, did Edwards. Now Davis on the run. Through traffic, and Miller called for the block, score the basket.
That was a heck of a sequence for North Carolina. A great defensive play leads to this. The ball bounces around a little bit. Powell not only blocked the ball, he tipped it away. And then R.J. Davis he's just too fast. Miller never could get his defensive position established.
So Davis a chance at the 3-point play to push the lead to 16.
Powell has done about everything tonight, hasn't he?
Well, he's been really impressive. Free throw good for Davis. 3 of 5 at the line. He's now got 13.
And that's a great response by North Carolina. SMU had a little bit of energy there early in the half.
Jarrell Colbert on the drive. He lost it off his shoe. Here's Jackson. He's got help if he wants it. Tried to stride through and going to end up. Bill Covington went out of bounds in the end zone. And he'll get to his feet. And we're going to have Eric Lewis check with his colleague here.
Now, this is some move Jackson is trying to make. Good heavens.
Oh, and you see Bill twist. Oh, boy. Hope he's okay. Looked like a slight ankle twist. As he stepped to the corner there.
Stepped on one of the photographers over there. Ball actually went off Miller.
So here's Davis in the corner. Boy, Boopy Miller played over the top of the Van Allen Lubin screen, didn't he? Davis in a double team. Here's Van Allen Lubin. Short jumper good. Well, if SMU does that well defensively and Lubin still scores, Dan, that's a tough deal for Andy Enfield. 7-0 run by Carolina. Colbert in traffic. Fouled by Powell. That'll be his 3rd. He's the first Tar Heel with 3. Second of the half.
Wes, it's really interesting the contrast in plays right there. A little drop-off pass to Lubin results in a basket. Little drop-off pass there. Traore fumbles the ball. Now he's going to get to the free throw line. But that should have been an easy basket.
A couple of shots for Johan Traore from France. He had 20 and 11 rebounds against Longwood. Only 6 against Duke. Those are his first points tonight.
And Wes, just as importantly, Trey Orr is a guy who gets to the free throw line.
Yeah.
And this is his first trip there tonight.
Yeah, this is 55th free throw of the year right here in 15 games.
SMU has 7 guys that score 8.7 or higher points per game. And Trey Orr is one of them, and he gets a lot of them at the free throw line, and he just hadn't been able to get there tonight.
I think Ian Jackson's found out tonight when you go 5 straight with 20 or more, you're toward the top of the report defensively. Every time he catches it, there's at least 1 and oftentimes 2 Mustangs, and there goes the captain down the lane. Couldn't finish the layup.
However, he appears undeterred. That was against the zone that time.
Yep. Miller on the drive and a foul. Reach across. Tommy Morrissey will pick up the whistle and make the call here on Cadeau. Third on Cadeau, third on Carolina. But the Tar Heels with a 17-point lead, 48-31. A moment ago, Van Allen Lubin in the paint. Before.
And I'm sure we gave J.R. Reed the Holly Farms player of the game.
Oh, do you know how many people are happy you said that? Here's Miller in traffic and a foul on R.J. Davis. It'll be his third. It's the 4th on Carolina in the half.
Well, Wes, when J.R. Reed was a freshman, and of course Dean Smith really tried hard to limit the recognition for freshmen, thanks to a conspiracy among the Raycom Jefferson Pilot analysts, organized by, directed by, and led by Billy Cunningham.
Okay, yeah.
The analysts gave J.R. Reed the Holly Farms player of the game every time.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Now we know.
At Cunningham's direction.
Okay. Boopy Miller at the line. By the way, these two teams played a year earlier in Dallas at Reunion Arena. Carolina won a 2-point game, 88-86. The first meeting ever between the two was in January of 1985 in Greensboro. So they played 3 consecutive years, Dan, essentially. And in that first meeting, it was 4 versus 5. John Concack had 31 points for Dave Bliss's Mustangs. Kenny Smith had 18. Steve Hale had 16. Carolina lost 84-82 in Greensboro.
You didn't say tournament game.
No, regular season game on a Sunday in Greensboro. Yeah, before the Smith Center opened. Here's Withers at the foul line. He'll knock down the jump shot.
Boy, North Carolina in the second half. Lubin with the basket, Withers with the basket inside. Yep. North Carolina has defeated SMU points in the paint, transition points, second chance points. It's North Carolina has dominated just about every phase of the game.
First on Jackson, 5 on Carolina. Just 1 foul on SMU here in the second half. The Mustangs, as much as they're trying to get back in the game, are 3 of 12 from the floor here in the second half.
Well, the 12 shots, that's an encouraging sign, but 3 of 12 is not.
Yep. Boopy Miller with Traore providing the screen and feeds it right back to the big man, Johan Traore's first field goal. He's got 3.
How close did Jackson come to getting that one?
Yep.
SMU needs to do more of that.
Here's Van Allen Lubin working against Akendo with a right hand and scores. Just turns right over his left shoulder for his 3rd field goal. And 7 for Van Allen Lubin.
And the back to the basket power move isn't something you normally see.
And he forced the turnover there. Nice pass. Trimble for Davis.
The pass was a little bit behind him. That's a heck of a catch by Davis on the run.
Timeout for Andy Enfield. It's 19, the Tar Heel lead, with almost 6 minutes gone here in the second half. Back to Smith Center in a moment on the Atlantic Coast Conference Television Network. Still scoreless in the second half after 14 at the break. R.J. Davis, though, Dan, he's got 5 here in the second half, 15 tonight.
As impressive as North Carolina has been on offense, Wes, I think their defense has been much more impressive. They have held SMU so far in this game for the game to 26% overall field goal shooting, 15% from beyond the arc.
Almost 6 minutes gone here in this second half as the Mustangs go to work with B.J. Edwards, Cario Oquindo, and now Yigitolu Cement trying to back down Van Allen Lubin off the block, and a foul will be called on Lubin. Tom Kasimpa's handling our stats tonight. SMU's only made back-to-back field goals once tonight. That's a struggle. That's the full struggle.
For a team who plays as well on the offensive end as SMU.
Yep.
To have scored baskets on consecutive possessions only one time in this game.
Yeah. Here's Cross, challenged by Lubin, missed the bunny and recovered by Davis. RJ trying to get the transition game going. Here is Jackson around. Whoa, boy. Yigatolu took Jackson down hard. And they're going to look at this.
Look at it. Jackson landed right on his tailbone.
And Hubert Davis is fired up. And Eric Lewis talking to Samet Yigatolu, as Bill Covington now will take a look at this. And
the previous play is under review.
This is a hard foul. Yigatolu's trying to stop him, and Jackson, I mean, he just goes right into him, brings his arm down. And that's what knocked Jackson down. And remember, Wes, he's making a play on the ball, but even if you make a play on the ball, if your contact is excessive, that can very easily be a flagrant foul. It could be a flagrant one. If the officials decide that the contact is severe, then it could actually be a flagrant two.
so here are the differentials in this.
Well, the first one there is what we're looking at here. Excessive and/or unnecessary. And even if you're making a play on the ball, it can still be a flagrant foul if it's excessive or unnecessary. Not a legitimate play on the ball is when you like wrap somebody up.
Sure.
Or a hold or push from behind. There's no hold or push from behind there. That was all from in front. But it was a very hard foul.
So they continue to look here.
And Wes, just because it was a very hard foul doesn't necessarily make it a flagrant foul either.
Right.
And here's what we're talking about. Severe or extreme. And the severity of the contact, whether it was to the head of the defender, the injury potential if the player was vulnerable, well, Jackson certainly was.
Right. So take all that into account. And now here's another look.
Again, Jackson is in the air, and Yigatolu just comes down, brings his arms down, and knocks him down to the ground hard. I don't think he hit him that hard, Wes, but I think when he lowered his arms, it knocked him so off balance that he landed very hard.
Yeah. So Tommy Morrissey has joined Bill Covington. Meanwhile, Eric Lewis is visiting with Samet Yigatolu. And I think they've come to a resolve here, and we'll hear from the referee here, Bill Covington.
After review, the previous foul has been upgraded to a flagrant 1. 24 seconds on the shot clock. 2 shots, ball underneath to North Carolina.
Okay, so there you have it.
Well, they ruled it a flagrant 1 foul because of they felt the contact was excessive because of, number 1, the windup, and number 2, the follow through. So he winds up here and then he follows all the way through, and they considered that contact to be excessive.
So a couple of free throws and the ball for North Carolina.
Yes.
And Ian Jackson with 2 here. And the first one good. So Jackson's now got 8 in the ball game.
He may have a sore tailbone tomorrow.
And the second one cleanly through.
May have a sore tailbone right now.
The lead has gone to 21. Largest of the night for Carolina. Just beyond 6 and change gone here in the second half. Davis' spot up 2 is good. 4-point trip for Carolina.
Well, Davis is feeling it coming out here in the second half.
Yep. 58-35. Edwards skip to the corner, and a 3-ball is good, and that's Chuck Harris. 11 for Harris on his second 3 of the night.
That's only 3 as a team by the Mustangs.
Yeah, he's got 2 of them. Jackson all the way through on the drive, and he'll draw the foul.
Yigatolu is going to get tired of Jackson driving into the lane.
Well, he's He might get tired of it, and he might, if he does it one more time, he'll be on the bench, because that'll be 5. That's 4 on Yigitolu now at the 13:04 mark. And that is 4 fouls, or 3 fouls, I beg your pardon, on SMU here in the second half. Jackson at the line for a couple. And the first one good. Don't forget, Sunday we got an ACC Network women's basketball quadruple header. You see Duke and Virginia get a start at noon, and then North Carolina hosts Boston College at Carmichael at 2. Georgia Tech and Louisville at 4 from Derby City. And then Miami-Syracuse wraps it up at 6 o'clock, all on ACC Network, streaming live on the ESPN app. Ian Jackson, a couple of free throws. Carolina by 22. Cross. And caught out of bounds, and B.J. Edwards stepped on the sideline.
Wes, and I can't emphasize this enough. This is an outstanding SMU team, particularly on the offensive end. And just everything is discombobulated tonight, and you have to give credit to the North Carolina defense. They have been very aggressive.
Mustangs are under 28% from the floor tonight.
Remember, they average over 85 points a game.
Jackson into the corner. Withers the shot fake. He'll take off around Traore. The scoop and score. Wow. Johan Traore's foul. His first 4 on SMU.
Well, this is really a heck of a move here by Withers. Watch how long he stays up in the air. His feet almost hit the ground before he let go of the ball. That is really something.
So 7 now for Jalen Withers. Traore plays with Okendo, Harris, Edwards, and Cross. Pretty small lineup, relatively speaking, for SMU. There goes Edwards into traffic, and Carolina hoping for a held ball, not going to get it. Jalen Withers going to pay for it. It's his first. That is 7 on Carolina with 12:14 to go. So, Dan, there'll be free throws here for a while.
Wes, coming into this game, you look at each of these teams, and given the size of SMU, that was clearly an advantage for them. In North Carolina, they were a smaller team, but they have guys who can score on the outside, and they have a lot of speed, so they had some advantages. And what you've seen is North Carolina in this game has been able to make their advantages an overmatch for SMU's advantages.
That is 10 now for Edwards.
And
the fourth free throw.
The Tar Heels defense has just been so disruptive. SMU can't really get into anything.
Yep. Both free throws for B.J. Edwards. Almost 8 minutes gone, second half. Cadeau lost it on the dribble. Here goes Cario Oquendo to the basket, and he'll stuff it home with 2 hands. First field goal for the Oregon transfer. And it's 63-42 now.
That's now 9 turnovers in the game for North Carolina, but for the most part, they've done a great job taking care of the ball.
Jackson skips it for Powell. Drake slides to the basket in traffic, too strong in the rebound, and here comes B.J. Edwards and SMU on the attack. Oquendo, a kickback for an Edwards 3. And that'll bounce out of bounds. And that'll get us to a timeout. 11:28 to play in Chapel Hill. North Carolina trying to pick up their 3rd conference win and be their 10th on the year. The other day against Duke, they were 34% from the floor and 5 of 21 from 3.
Well, it is 2 in a row, and I don't know that that's anything for Andy Enfield to panic about, because it's against 2 really good teams. And this is a North Carolina team. I don't know, Wes, we've seen them in person a couple times now.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've seen them play any more of a complete game than this. Not only from an offensive standpoint, but their rebounding, their defense has really been good.
And I suspect we're going to find out post-game their communication wasn't bad.
Well, Hubert Davis was very pleased with the way he felt his guys communicated with one another against Notre Dame. And they had success in that game, so you have success, that generally means you keep doing it.
Yeah. I thought he said something interesting to us today, too. He said they have to know they're a team, not a group.
Yes.
Cadeau for Jackson.
Look at him
on the drive and draws the foul.
I mean, when he sets sail down the lane, I mean, he is hard to stop.
Yep. Foul is on Harris. It'll be his first. 5 now on the Mustangs.
And Wes, it's interesting to me, he jumps so early. He like floats through the air. And given the way the rule is about the block charge on the inside, that might have been a disadvantage a couple of years ago. But the way that rule is written now, there's no secondary defender who has a chance to get in there before he plants that last foot.
And he missed the back end of the free throw. Carolina's first miss of the second half. They hit 7 in a row before Jackson saw that one drop off the edge. 22-point lead, under 11 to play now at Smith Center tonight.
And Boopie Miller, he came in averaging almost 16 a game. He's only scored 6.
Yeah, 4 here in the half. Aquindo inside. Traore up strong. Cross crashed the glass. I think Carolina touched that last. It'll stay with SMU, 6 to shoot.
And Wes, prior to the game, everybody was talking about that's where SMU had an advantage, down on the inside. And they tried to go in there again, and they just weren't successful. North Carolina has defended the interior very well.
Miller. Cadeau tried to help. Withers tried to help. Finally, they forced the shot, and then Cross took it from Withers. Gives it back to Miller, and Cadeau blocked it out of there. And we're going to get a foul.
That was a kick ball.
Or kick ball. So Eric Lewis with the kick ball, and so 20 to shoot, and SMU gets it on the baseline here.
Well, again, North Carolina really scrambling on the inside. I think if the officials had to do that all over again, they might have called a shot clock violation.
Right. Miller, left corner, here's Harris. And how about that? Drake Powell reached in, knocked it away for R.J. Davis. Powell, no points here in the second half. He had 14 at the break. He's 2 off his season high. And offensive foul.
It was on Aquindo.
No, it's on Washington.
Washington, okay.
Yeah, no, it's on Washington. It's his 3rd. And crowd doesn't like it. Eric Lewis made the call, and Bill Covington agreed with it. 3rd on Jalen Washington. So Van Allen Lubin reports back. And we also get our first look at Keon Ambrose Hilton, 22 in the black shirt tonight for SMU.
Wes, you've mentioned a couple times that the Mustangs have 3 returning players, and Ambrose Hilton is one of them.
Yeah, Harris and
what a pass.
Edwards the other. There goes Davis on the blur, and he had it knocked away. One thing has followed last year's Carolina team to this year's Carolina team. There are not many that are faster at 94 feet.
No, they go. And the interesting thing about it, Wes, they push the ball ahead with the pass. There's a lot of teams that get up the floor really quickly with the dribble, but they push the ball ahead with the pass very effectively.
.940 to play. Davis a 3. And boy, they battle inside. It's going to be a push on SMU, I think. It's going to be on Ambrose Hilton. 6'9" from Toronto. His first, 6 on the Mustangs.
Well, it was on somebody. You saw Jalen Withers jump up in the air, and suddenly he went flying out of there.
And lob for Withers against Ambrose Hilton. Here's R.J. Davis against Harris. SMU's been pretty much man after what, 10 minutes of zone, Dan? 12?
They did a little zone here in the second half, but wasn't very effective.
Davis missed the 3.
You're just trying anything you can to try to change the tempo of the game.
Yigatolu, the rebound, and Miller, the transition one-hander.
And that's really the first time we've seen Boopie Miller do that, and that's one of the strongest parts of his game.
Yep. 9 minutes to play.
Part of the problem is North Carolina has shot the ball so well, there haven't really been a lot of opportunities for SMU to get out in transition.
There's Powell. Tried to save it to Withers and threw it away. Turnover on the Tar Heels. Miller going to streak to the basket and draws the foul from Jalen Withers. That'll be his second. 9 against Carolina, so a couple of free throws coming up.
And again, North Carolina has protected the ball pretty well, and that was a concern. You don't want to give a team like SMU a lot of opportunities to get out and go, and North Carolina basically has restricted that tonight.
So Chicago's Boopy Miller to the line, where he's 2 for 2 here in the second half. Of course, was at Wake Forest a year ago, averaged 14 points and 3.5 assists. We got ACC guys all over the place tonight because former Maryland coach Mark Turgeon's here. How about this? His son Leo is a freshman at Carolina. So former assistant under Roy Williams at Kansas, head coach at Texas A&M and Maryland in his career.
Wichita State. 10
NCAA tournaments. We got ACC luminaries everywhere. Bonner's here, Mark Turgeon, Roy Williams, Boopy Miller.
Well, Mark Turgeon not only was a really good basketball coach, but what a great person.
Yeah, good guy. Sure was. And good to see him here tonight and have a visit. Here's Davis trying to find a crease. Carolina leads 19. Cadeau, look at Ambrose Hilton try to keep up, and Cadeau missed badly on the jumper. Ambrose Hilton runs it down.
Really good job by Ambrose Hilton to not let Cadeau get by.
More 3 here. SMU going to pick up some momentum. Miller on the drive, and Cadeau bounced it off of Boopy. It'll belong to the Tar Heels. With 8:19 to play, and Andy Enfield summons Chuck Harris off his bench, and he's coming for Boopy Miller. So here is Trimble to put it in play with Cadeau, Davis, Powell, and Van Allen Lubin.
Well, that was a dangerous pass.
Yep. And quickly, Cadeau here in the front court against Cario Oquindo. Ball screen for Elliot Cadeau. Trimble with 5 to shoot. Runner off the baseline. Now Harris into the corner. Oquindo will fire, and oh boy, Cadeau reaching for his eyes. Oquindo went down in the corner, and we get a break. 7:46 to go. The under-8 media timeout in Chapel Hill. Carolina by 19 on ACC Network. Back in Chapel Hill, ACC basketball presented tonight by T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. With Dan Bonner, Wes Durham, Matt Krause, our producer, Kyle Lang, our director, terrific ACC Network crew. We're at the Dean E. Smith Center tonight. 4th meeting all time, and first is ACC combatants between SMU and North Carolina. And Cario Oquindo, after the foul a moment ago on Cadeau, was his 4th, Dan.
That was a 3-point shot.
Yep, so he gets 3 cracks at it.
So not only did Cadeau get his 4th foul, but he got smacked in the face.
Yeah, he's come out. And Oquindo knocks down the free throw. SMU on a 10-1 run now. It's a 16-point game. 7:45 to go, and the Mustangs are lingering, Dan?
Not lingering. That's a good way, but you can tell the kind of hole they dug for themselves. They're on a 10-1 run, and so they're still behind by 16.
Yep. Powell for Van Allen Lubin.
But don't forget, this is an excellent offensive team as SMU.
Davis out of the corner. Trimble misfires on the three, and the backside rebound for Keon Ambrose Hilton. 6'9" senior has done a nice job off of Andy Enfield's bench here.
Yes, he has. And again, Wes, the more shots North Carolina misses, the more opportunities there are for SMU to get out and go. And North Carolina, shooting a very high percentage, denied them those opportunities earlier in the game.
Ian Jackson's come back on the floor. He's with Drake Powell, Ben Allen Lubin, Trimble, and R.J. Davis, who just drew the reach on Keon Ambrose Hilton, I think. And I'm still not quite sure why 6'9" Keon Ambrose Hilton paid for his second foul by trying to guard R.J. Davis. But nonetheless,
well, somebody's got to guard him. You know, there's a switch out there. This is North Carolina with a smaller, quicker lineup.
And Hubert Davis was talking about this earlier today with us, Dan. Sure, everybody understands the big man situation, but he may have found something here. What do you see that this could potentially blossom for?
Well, first of all, when North Carolina plays defense like that, when they scramble around and help one another, particularly in the first half, then it doesn't matter how many big guys you have. It's hard to find them. The big guys have to handle the ball. Most big guys aren't great ball handlers and passers.
Right.
And so that has really helped. And then in the second half, the Tar Heels have spread the court. They forced switches, and there's no way that you know, Ambrose Hilton is going to be able to guard R.J. Davis away from the basket. Again, it's you take your advantage and you make him an overmatch for the other team's advantage, and that's what North Carolina has done here tonight.
5.5, 13 the ball game for Harris. 66-50 the score. 6:24 to go. Powell at length against Ambrose Hilton.
Now North Carolina just trying to run their half-court offense.
Yep, Davis on a ball screen, tried to feed Ben Allen Lubin, turned over. Here's Edwards now on the break with Ian Jackson defending and scores.
You force turnovers, you get transition baskets, and suddenly the game looks a lot different, although you're still way behind.
And there's a backcourt foul on Cross, who was trying to bait the pass on the inbounds and perhaps make the steal. He pays for it with his third. That's the 8th on SMU with 5:59 to go. So free throws now for the Tar Heels, and Seth Trimble going to the line. Trimble is scoreless. Remember, he's missed the last 3. He had been double figures in 5 straight prior to his practice injury. And missed the front of the 1-and-1. Carolina has gone 6.5 minutes without a field goal.
Now, Trimble hadn't scored tonight, but I thought his defensive effort, particularly in the first half, really helped the Tar Heels.
Here's Harris, another 3. And the rebound hit the ground, and Davis scoops it.
West Carolina with a great job blocking out. That's an area where we said SMU came into this game as the leading offensive rebounding team in the Atlantic Coast Conference, but North Carolina has really stopped that.
Yep. Lubin for Davis. Tried to get it to Ian Jackson. Here he is in the corner. Powell tees up a 3. And a technical foul
on who?
Basket is good for Drake Powell. Oh, wow.
Oh, my.
So Drake Powell knocks down the 3 to make it a 17-point night for him. And the foul is on, technical foul on the SMU bench.
Well, given where it was called, it had to be on Andy Enfield.
And Eric Lewis and Bill Covington in conversation as you get a look at the first-year Mustang leader, 55-year-old Andy Enfield. So we'll take a timeout with them. 17-point lead again for Carolina after the Powell triple and a technical foul called when we continue. So Bill Covington and Eric Lewis are at the monitor here. And it's announced as a technical foul on the SMU bench.
I think that's what Andy Enfield got upset about. You see the bench gets up and comes. They felt like that was a double dribble.
Right.
And it wasn't called. And so they got hit with a technical foul, but the basket is going to count. Right side of your screen, you see Andy Enfield out by half court.
Yeah. So
RJ Davis had the ball, and it certainly looked like he double dribbled.
Yep. So Bill Covington, Final Four official in his own right, one of the better officials in all of college basketball, talking to Andy Enfield as RJ Davis shoots the first of the technical free throws.
And what they may have been trying to establish was whether the technical foul was called before North Carolina was in its shooting motion.
And he hit both free throws, and the Tar Heels going to get the ball. So
no, it picks up at the point of interruption.
Oh, that's right. So it belongs to SMU. So it ends up being a
5-point trip.
Yep. The 3 for Powell, the 2 free throws. The team foul. Here's Edwards all the way on the drive. Got trapped by Vin Allen Lubin. He'll skip it across for Cross.
They got a mismatch inside with Yigatolu, but they simply can't find it.
And Cross forces it up and in. And 9 for Matt Cross.
And that's the right word, Wes. Forces it up. Jackson was battling against Yigatolu inside, and SMU never looked at it.
17-point game. We go inside of 5 minutes.
And the Mustangs now coming with some pressure.
Yep. Carolina spreading the floor here.
Now they're content to let their guards do the work now.
Davis working on B.J. Edwards. RJ with Yigatolu. Skips for Powell. 5 to shoot. Drake a hanging 2. And Cross.
Wes, one of the things that's been going on here recently, these skip passes by North Carolina have not been really well executed. Guys having to jump to catch the ball, not really in shooting position.
Edwards rolls in his 5th field goal. He's got 8.5, now 15 in the ball game for the junior from Knoxville, Tennessee. And RJ Davis finally handles as we get toward 4 minutes here, Dan. Lead is 15 for Carolina.
And in this situation, Wes, if you're going to run the clock down, you've got to have some guys who can score at the end of the clock.
Davis, 5 to shoot. Ambrose Hilton in the air. Here's Jackson, a 3 from the right.
Check that box.
Yeah. You were looking for guys that can score.
Score at the end of the clock.
I offer you the freshman.
There you go.
Jackson.
But that was great patience. Even though the clock was running down, he faked to get himself an open shot.
Harris a fall away. It'll rattle in. Chuck Harris with 15 in the game. He and Edwards now starting to heat up here a little bit for SMU with 3 and change to go. Trimble for Davis. RJ floater with a right hand. Tell you what, he struggled the last 2, Dan. It looks like he might have recovered and found the groove here.
Of course, if you're Hubert Davis, that's exactly what you're hoping for, that he'll find the groove.
Yigatolu, his field goal, just his 2nd of the night, gives him 4 points. It's a 16-point game with 3 minutes to go. Ian Jackson at the end of the shot clock a moment ago knocks down his 2nd 3 of the night. More from Chapel Hill in a moment. All right, Justin. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate it. Carolina by 16. 3 minutes to play here in Chapel Hill. Some of the partisans have headed for the exit. RJ Davis will walk it into the front court, and Carolina will burn shot clock here.
What a game Davis has had. 23 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals.
And trying to add more to it. Washington will set the screen. Tolo tries to help. Out of bounds. 3.4 to shoot for Carolina.
Again, the Tar Heels are very content to take their time, take as much time off the clock as possible.
Washington for Davis. 1 on the clock over Yigatolo. And it goes! Oh, we're going to check.
Like I say, I'm not sure he got that one off. But they should count it just because the way it looked. And normally, Wes, they would review it at the next TV timeout, but there aren't any TV timeouts left. Clock at the top.
Oh, it's off.
It is off. There you go.
His hand. Tell you what, I would go ahead and mark that down. That ought to live in SportsCenter's top 10 tonight.
Yeah, that's the way I thought about it too, guys. That was
You're looking for shooters at the end of the shot clock, Bonner.
Well, I know.
Ian Jackson, R.J. Davis.
I would rely on him, but that was over a 7'2" guy falling. He was falling backwards.
Yeah.
But certainly from the angles that we had, that looked like he got it off before. And yeah, they just counted it.
Yep. Andy infield of the word for Bill Covington.
Well, that's the way it's gone tonight for SMU.
Yeah, look.
You got to be kidding.
What?
That shot.
Shot? Yeah, well, you know, you hit a few of those in your driveway in Pittsburgh growing up as a kid with nobody around. Here's Miller, blocked by Washington, slapped out beyond the timeline. Mustangs will run it down as we're worked to 2 minutes.
That's 4 block shots for Washington.
Second good game too, right?
Yes.
Because Hubert Davis was effusive about the way he played the other day, and Matt Cross, I think, just caught R.J. Davis in the chops here. And Davis is down, and Carolina's basketball trainer is Doug Halverson, who's going to come out here and take a look at R.J. Davis.
It looks like he's just bleeding, nosebleed.
Yeah.
Oh, they just banged heads.
It's a foul on Davis.
Well, Davis got the foul called because he reaches in, and after that reach in, they banged heads.
Right.
And it looked like he took it right on the nose.
Yep. So Doug Halverson out to check on R.J. Davis, who, as Dan just told you, has had a terrific night with 26.
Well, when you get hit in the nose like that, Wes, the world spins.
Yep.
After review, common foul on white 4, 2 shots, black 33.
All right. So Matt Cross will get a couple of free throws. R.J. Davis will.
Well, that's one of those unfortunate plays, Wes, where he reaches in, and because he reached in, he gets his head right on top of Cross's head, and they bang heads. That's just an unfortunate play.
Yep. So they're taking care of the housekeeping below the deck. Doug Halverson will walk R.J. Davis back to the Carolina locker room here at Smith Center. So Cross will go to the line to shoot a couple of free throws. Matt Cross is third ACC stop in his career, Dan. He'll be 24 years old next month, by the way. Will this young man from Beverly, Mass.
Started in Miami.
Correct.
Went to Louisville.
Yes.
Spent a couple of years at UMass.
And now plays the COVID year at SMU. And he knocks the free throw down to give him 10 on the night. And make it 11 with the free throw. Averaged 15 points and shot 54% a year ago for the Minutemen.
Well, he's a really versatile player. That's a nice mix of threes and mid-range game, post-up game.
Yep.
And they tried early in the game to get him mismatched inside against Cadeau, but the North Carolina help defense really prevented him from doing any damage in there.
Yeah, he got a double-double tonight, though. It's his 4th of the year and the 14th of his career after knocking the free throws down there a moment ago. Here is Cadeau. Tried to flip it inside, turned over to Ambrose Hilton.
Well, the turnover numbers are not going to look pretty for North Carolina tonight, but most of them have been after the game was really decided.
Yep. Spot up 3. Harris knocks it down.
He can shoot it.
Yeah, he's got 18, 10 in the second half for Chuck Harris. And it's 79-65 with a minute and change. There's a skip back for Cadeau. And a hit for Ian Jackson. That's a long three. Powell tried to keep it alive. Oquendo the rebound for the Mustangs. Minute to go. Cross working against Elliot Cadeau. Wheels and scores.
And earlier in the game when he did that, you'd take 1 or 2 dribbles and he would get a double team.
Yep.
And that time Jalen Washington very slow getting over for the double team and gave Cross the opportunity.
And Hubert Davis is just going to run the clock here. Keep the ball moving. And going to be about a 20-second differential shot clock to game clock here. Cadeau handles it out front. Carolina getting ready to go to 10-6 and 3-1 in the ACC. Jackson a three. Got it. Ian Jackson has 18 now on his third three of the night. Carolina's double figures in threes. What a performance from behind the line for the Tar Heels. 11 of them tonight. And that'll do it with about 11 seconds left. Jackson the rebound.
He stepped out of bounds.
And he stepped out of bounds with 10.5 to go. Chuck Harris is looking for a foul.
But that sort of sums up the night for North Carolina. Not falling out of bounds, but there were 4 white shirts after that rebound. And North Carolina, against a very good rebounding team, has really done a nice job controlling the boards.
Oquendo off the inbounds. SMU, by the way, gets Georgia Tech Saturday at Moody Coliseum. And Carolina will be in Raleigh to meet the Wolfpack. 82-67 the final tonight.